Alright, back at it this morning. We're under a bit of a time restraint because we're going to get this car started. Is that Jason from In Motion Auto? Absolute legend, lives around the corner here. He's going to come and help us out. But yeah, my job is to get the engine out, get it apart, and then he's going to come around next week and help me re-bearing it, put it all back together. So yeah, I'm going to get stuck into that today and see how far I can get along. Hopefully it'll be a little bit smoother. I'm definitely a lot more experienced working on cars than building trailers. So, but yeah, try and do everything right, well, as right as you can without a actual workshop. We've got parts bench, so obviously once I get the engine out, I'll sort of utilise that a little bit more. Save yourself a lot of time for future Shane. All bolts in there, labelled where they come from. Pretty well everything I need. Like I said, Jason, absolute legend. He's lent me an engine crane and an engine stand, which, look, yeah, for me to try and do this, not in my own workshop, yeah, massive job. I've got more room here than I do at home, but yeah, I've got a lot more specialty tools and stuff at home. Whereas, yeah, Jason's pretty much just come to the party and said, yeah, I'll help you out. He's given me, yeah, heaps of stuff, saved me so much money. So hopefully I can do all this sort of bit myself, and then we'll just do the technical stuff together. So, but yeah, it's basically, just tell you, I suppose, what the problem is. It just a few days ago just developed a bit of a knock, just a really sort of light knocking noise, which, yeah, I knew straight away that wasn't normal. Definitely not, not a standard noise, not something I've ever heard from this engine. Which, mind you, the engine's only 2 years old, 40,000 Ks on it. It was an exchange engine by a Mob and Brizzy. I won't go into it, but I've had nothing but trouble with it. It cracked the head early on. There wasn't any head dowels to locate it that were fitted originally. So yeah, I was up for a new head pretty early on. I've just had countless problems with it. It's honestly been a nightmare. So hopefully whatever's caused this knocking has been adding to a few of the problems since I've owned it. So hopefully when we get it apart, we can make sure it all goes back together exactly how it should, do it all properly, and hopefully that'll be the fix for all the problems. But the way we diagnosed it, like, I just checked everything that I could have. I checked all the pulleys, we opened each injector just to check each cylinder, checked all the bits that were added on, all the accessories and stuff like that, listened to it everywhere, and there was nothing super obvious. Pulled the top off, checked the lifters. They're just hydraulic lifters, so there was no adjustment that could be out, no sort of tappets that could be misaligned and need to be adjusted. It's a pretty basic engine. So Jason came around and helped me with a bit of that, and then he said, look, the next thing is to pull the filter off and check for any metal. So that's what we did. We put a new filter on. I took around his place, we cut it open. There was there was metal in there, not heaps, but there was metal in there, which there shouldn't be any. So that was sort of a sure sign that there's something wrong in the bottom end. He thinks it's just a bearing. It still drives fine. It hasn't lost any power. It's not blowing smoke. So it's literally just a knock. And it's slow. I think it is slowly getting louder. Not that I'm driving it that much now, since we noticed it. Yeah, so he's ordered me, bearing kit, all new gaskets, new head bolts, and new rings. So yeah, I'm gonna rip that out over today and tomorrow. Hopefully get it apart. Yeah, see what's going on and throw some new bits at it. So let's get into it and see how far along we get today. There in the background, I don't know, it might not show up on the camera, but it gets worse when the engine gets warm. So it's cold now, but I can still hear it now. So yeah. Okay, so the first step, drain all the fluids, wipe it off, wait for sharp for that. Battery out, radiator out, and then do all the bolt-ons. Let's get into it. most of it. Just, yeah, should drop it a fair bit, make it a bit easier to get to. I'm pretty short. Four driving in the shed, bro. See, that was literally up here.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's heaps easier. Freaking normal car now.
So is that your tip of the day?
Oh yeah, I suppose. It's a pretty good one. I mean, it's not rocket science, but...
Lower the pressure in your tyres so you can get in easier?
Yeah, it means I don't have to lift the engine as high. But it's more for me, because I don't have to stand on tippy. Just get in there.
Not the tallest guy in the world?
Not that tall.
So what's the step-by-step?
Bonnet, battery, drain all the fluids, and then all the accessory bits, so radiator fan, aircon will come off because that'll stay in the car because, you know, you break these lines, you lose all your gas, so that'll get out of the way. Take all the turbo hoses off, disconnect the wiring loom and the fuel, so brake lines, fuel. Oh, brake line's probably alright, but fuel lines and that.
You make it sound so simple.
Well, it's not. It's really not. It's not rocket science, really. And then yeah, you just take your engine mounts off and just go up in the air.
So what are you doing right now?
I'm trying to get these fan bolts off. One of them's rounded off, so it's going to be a challenge. Might have to take the shroud off first to get better access to it. Alright, she's coming along pretty good. I've got, well, pretty well everything out of the way that I need to. So I've just, what am I up to? Yeah, I've just pretty well just got to do the engine mounts, just like take them off, bell housing, and lift it out. So I've just left all the stuff that's going to make a mess. I'll leave that right till the end. So oil filter's still attached. Obviously got to move that sandwich plate, radiator hoses, and the fuel lines. So that's all on for now. Yeah, like I say, right when I'm ready to go, I'll chuck a bit of cardboard under it and lift all that off. What I've done, like I've worked, these engines are pretty simple, and I've done this a few times with this car, but I just do it out of habit anyway. Just labelled all the wiring connections. Yeah, it just makes life a lot easier when you're putting it back together. Like I say, I mean, you can't really go wrong on these because a lot of the plugs are like certain shapes, and you know, the loom is only the right length to get to places. But yeah, just do it. It takes 2 seconds. It's peace of mind. If I was doing a more modern vehicle with more electrics, I'd be really careful with it all. But like I say, there's about 5 wires here on this side, and that's pretty well it. So yeah, I'll smack out the rest of this stuff, but fingers crossed we'll be lifting it out soon. One thing I was struggling a little bit with was the dump pipe. They're studs. There's not actually enough room to wind that nut out past the stud. I don't know if they've done that intentionally. Whoever's made it has done that, but yeah, it's sort of starting to round off the nut when it was hitting the side of the dump pipe there. So I've just stopped that. I haven't actually got a proper tool to wind the stud out itself and it's a bit big to get like a shifter or something. Like it's not enough room to get like a shifter in there. I should be able to just lift that hole down to the flex joint. I should be able to lift the whole thing out together. It's not that big of a piece. That's the flex joint that runs in bell housing and then up. So see how we go. I might regret this later, but I'm hoping I can just lift it all straight out. If not, once it's further out, once I've sort of lifted it up and tilted the motor, I might have more room to get a shifter or a spanner on those studs and wind them out. So a couple more and we'll be ready to roll. Alright, I think we're ready. I'm not talking to you. Well, I think I'm ready. Usually now where you realise all the shit you forgot because it all catches, but I think that's pretty good. I've taken all the bolt-on stuff off. Bell housing's all done all the way around. Loom, I believe, is done. I did the earth ones at the back. Did you forget? No, I didn't. That one. Good thing. I'll find somewhere to bolt this chain on and then we'll get lifting. Let's give it a go.
Well, no, I only just when you just close it in. No, it's actually like using this. I could just cut her heart out. I guess you have.
Pretty well, yeah.
So it's bad, you need a heart transplant. Again!
No, she just had a little surgery. It's not
Triple bypass.
What are you doing? Holding it or
I'm trying to hold it.
is it going to hit that? Or is it solid?
It's more so when you swing it. Oh, God, that's so worrying. Whoa! Whoa!
Oh, yeah.
One successfully removed engine.
Yeah, it was actually quite smooth. Happy with that.
It's because you had an apprentice this time at the end.
That last 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
Really makes a difference.
Rainbow. Sunset. Holy dolly. It literally looks like the sky's on fire. Thanks for watching this week's episode. Next week, Shane will be pulling the engine apart and getting started on the rebuild with Jason from In Motion Auto. We were doing this work in preparation to do the big lap of Australia, which we have now left on. So if you want to see what we're up to daily, give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok. And as ever, if you enjoyed this video, give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you next week.